ちちゃんもイソスタ始めてみたら？ねえ、大臣もそう思うでしょ？ぜひ友達になりましょう。バンド活動していくならメンバー個人のアカウントあった方がいいと思うし。
This anime is cool. The current fall season of anime has no doubt been one of the most jam-packed seasons the anime community has been hit with in a while. With the long-anticipated release of Chainsaw Man, Spy X Family Season 2, Mob Psycho 100's third season, and many other fire titles, it comes as no surprise that some anime have been swept under the metaphorical rug of forgettability. But not this one, baby. Woo! Music anime, in my opinion, is a somewhat discarded genre that many people don't often take into consideration when it comes to watching anime. Despite it not being a highly sought-out genre, there are still quite a few titles that fall under this category and are pretty recognizable to most people in the anime community. If I had to name a few... K-On!, Kimi no Uso, Kentaro, Hibike White Album, Zombieland Saga. I could go on forever. There really are a lot of titles to choose from, but few actually come close to the same quality we were given this season. Bocchi the Rock is one of the best music anime I've come across so far. I mean, it's not K-On!, but you know. This show, from what I've seen, has been gaining more and more popularity, with some of my favorite YouTubers referring it to their audience, as well as my For You page on TikTok being absolutely flooded with clips from the show. Do I watch all of them? Yes, I do actually. I have an addiction. Now, if by chance you haven't seen this anime floating around in your local online cesspool or haven, allow me to break it down for you. Bocchi the Rock is a story of an introverted high school girl who takes an interest in music as a means of improving her social credit. Standing, come on. As a closet-dwelling introvert, Hitori Goto, Japanese wordplay by the way, is a character that I'm sure many of us in the anime community can probably relate to. I say this not because of her generic hikikomori tracksuit and attitude, not because of her judgmental intrinsic thoughts, not because of the fact that she, actually no, it all kind of aligns really, but it's mainly because of how shit she is when it comes to social interaction. Now listen, I can't speak for everyone in this community, after all, everyone is different, but I can tell you from what I've seen that if there's one thing this community is lacking as a general whole, aside from a bar of soap, it's social skills, and I know because I lack the very same qualities. The anime caters very heavily to this kind of introverted otaku audience who are linked to Hitori in a way that's almost shameful to admit. I mean guys, it's not far off to say that if you call yourself an introvert, you will relate to this poor girl in some way, shape, or form. Throughout the anime, there's countless bits scattered across the different scenarios Hitori finds herself in that will leave you with the feeling of, holy shit, she's literally me. Only to think, oh, holy shit, she's literally me. That said, I think the most interesting thing about this anime, aside from the bangin' music, it really is bangin' by the way, go check it out, Guitar Loneliness and the Blue Planet, baby, let's go! One of the most interesting things about the anime is just how well it portrays the mind of an introvert and the struggles that come with that sort of mindset. It's almost as if the person who wrote it was an introvert themselves. I mean, who could say, you know? Now, I should mention before going further into this take that Bocchi the Rock is by no means a show that perfectly depicts the struggles of anxiety and the introvert lifestyle. In fact, I would argue the anime is more meant to be a satire with bits of comforting, heartfelt lessons spread throughout the course of the various episodes. But it's because of those little lessons that the show shines in the way it does. While I admit that the show does lean pretty heavily on the comedic aspect of Hitori going absolutely batshit over the mere mention of joyful social interaction with people, there are moments where you genuinely understand her feelings. In episode 1, as she's walking alongside Nijika, Hitori's asked about how athletic she is, and damn it, what Hitori replied with brought me back to a time I thought I had forgotten. And I hate that. She just had to bring up dodgeball. Dude, it's always fucking gym class where the introverts are left out, man. Come on. Like many introverts, Hitori was picked up last in dodgeball, flying under the radar like most introverts do, and being the last to get out because of that social invisibility. Many, if not all, introverts have endured a situation similar to this. Case in point, I know I was never picked up first when we were shooting hoop in gym class, and yet when I rocked a dude's ankles and netted that shit, everybody cheered, "Damn, white boy can shoot." You're damn right he can shoot. He doesn't fucking miss. And while this particular scene in episode 1 reminded me of my middle school trauma, I would be lying if I told you I didn't like the relatability of Hitori's character in this regard. The situations she finds herself in vary in social severity. Regardless, whether it's something small like being picked up last in gym class or something big like struggling to find your place in an already ongoing event, the series does a really good job at spinning these scenarios in a satirical way through Hitori's introverted point of view. To put things simply, Bocchi the Rock is a show about an introvert with introverted problems, and without that real-world relatability and humor, the show would lose its impact in some of its more heartwarming moments. In addition to the anime essentially making satire out of the introverted mindset, the show does a really good job at capturing the struggles of what introverts with social anxiety face. In episode 6, Hitori is forced to play a street live in order to sell some tickets for her band's upcoming gig. Although, as you can imagine prior to this, she basically has no luck selling them, as to do so you kind of have to, well, talk with people to sell them something. And unfortunately, much like Hitori's drawings, she doesn't do a very good job at conveying herself. In this moment though, through the encouragement of a raging alcoholic no less, Hitori is reminded that the audience in front of her isn't her enemy. This was a concept I absolutely loved when it was first introduced to the show, because it is a problem many introverts face. Obviously, not every introvert is accompanied by social anxiety, but I do believe a fair bit of introverts understand the feeling of what it's like to view people as though they're an opposing force. Naturally, it's pretty clear in life that the majority of people aren't out to get you. Any upstanding and good person wouldn't go out of their way to make you feel bad or mock you simply for the sake of doing so. And yet, we still see the possibility. It's that fixed gaze of an audience or even one person that can make your mind run a marathon when in reality, there was never a race. Living inside your own head like this, in essence, breeds those insecurities and hinders your ability to look past them. Because of this, we often forget the fact that while there is bad in people, so too there is good. And watching Hitori take a step into accepting this idea turned out to be an amazing moment within the anime. On one last note, I think it'd be a crime to not mention just how damn good Hitori's development is. I feel like a lot of anime tend to breeze past any and every form of progression they can get by with to get to the meat of what the series has to offer. We see this concept a lot more in isekai anime, where the main character gets sent to a parallel world, has a 5-minute training arc, and fucks off about his way for the rest of the series. And music animes aren't exempt from this idea. I love K-On!, it's literally my favorite anime. But when the fuck did Yui ever practice enough guitar to essentially play as a professional would? Guitar, much like any instrument, takes a lot of practice, especially when you're playing in a band, where you have to match those around you. Not only did Yui not have enough time to actually learn guitar and become good, but if you watch the anime, you know they never fucking practiced anyway.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable's right. Yui, you're such a baby. I'm blind! Take that off! Please, miss, stop it! I beg of you, stop it! Stop it!
Instead, Yui just focused on things like dressing the guitar and eating eyebrows. I don't know. I should mention that K-On!, in my opinion, wasn't entirely made for the sake of music. I think the main driving theme is a coming-of-age tale, which kind of explains why they didn't put so much effort into the skill progression side of like learning the guitar and all that kind of, but it doesn't matter. That's another video for another day, and you can fucking bet once I get better at editing and handling this hobby of mine, that's top of my list. My point in comparing the two is that Yui started out being able to play the guitar just randomly in her first year of high school, where Hitori had been practicing since middle school. That's literal years of practice as compared to none, and the anime expresses that in a way that aligns with Hitori's interest in being popular. When it comes to changing yourself, the first key thing to recognize is who you are currently and what you want to become, so you know what you're working toward and what you need to change to do so. Within the first 5 to 10 minutes of the anime, the audience is already introduced to Hitori's character and her newfound interest in guitar that in her mind will help her shine even as an introvert with social anxiety. From this point on, we see a lot of Hitori's efforts to talk with people or stand out, only to find out right after that they never quite work the way she planned. Social interaction is a two-way street, and as much as I understand Hitori's thought process, bringing a guitar to school and laying CDs on your desk doesn't mean people will just talk to you. unfortunately. Look man, I'll be damned if I didn't try that same shit in high school by reading manga in class and expecting people who watched anime to talk to me because of it. It doesn't work out. Don't ever try it. The interesting thing about the band she joins is that they all somehow bring out the best in her, even when she herself doesn't believe she can. People often say when you join a band, you're essentially joining a second family, and I can definitely see why in this case. As the band grows and she plays more with them, we see her open up, if only a little at a time, so that she can finally overcome her problems. And as she opens up more and more, she takes on more daunting tasks. Advertising for her band, working customer service, and even pushing herself to try hard for someone else's sake. Each of these things was spurred from her interactions with the people that are helping her toward her dream, and watching Hitori break through these obstacles is both a linear and uplifting experience. Bocchi the Rock is by far one of the best music anime I have seen to date, and if this video has at all made you interested, I think you should definitely give it a shot. Through scenarios both satirical and heartwarming, the anime gives its audience a peek at what it's like to be an introvert with introverted problems. And I think using music to illustrate this concept couldn't have worked out better. That said, maybe drop a comment letting me know what you think about the series, or if this video maybe convinced you to give it a try. Thanks for watching, and I'll hopefully see you all in the next vid. Itadashai!